Do you often find yourself saying yes to things that you don't want to do? It's a common predicament, isn't it? We've all been there, nodding in agreement when we'd rather shake our heads, saying yes when we mean no. But what if we told you that the power of no is more potent than you think? The word no is not just a response, it's an assertion, a declaration of your will. It's an affirmation of your priorities, a clear indication of what you value most. It's a simple word, just 2 letters, but oh, what a powerful punch they pack. Saying no can be a ticket to freedom, a release from the shackles of unnecessary commitments and obligations. It allows you to focus on your priorities, to concentrate on the things that truly matter to you. When you say no to something unimportant, you're saying yes to something important. You're saying yes to your goals, your dreams, your aspirations. And let's not forget about self-care. Saying no is an essential part of taking care of yourself. It's about setting boundaries, about respecting your time and energy. It's about understanding that your resources are finite and choosing to spend them wisely. Yet many of us hesitate to wield this power. We fear the consequences, the backlash, the potential for disappointment. But here's the thing, saying no is not about being rude or unkind. It's not about shutting doors or burning bridges. It's about standing up for yourself, about making a choice that's best for you. And remember, every no is also a yes. A yes to personal growth, a yes to self-respect, a yes to sanity. So the next time you're presented with a choice, remember the power of no. Remember that it's okay to say no, that it's healthy to say no. Saying no is not about being rude, it's about respecting your own time and boundaries. So, dare to say no, dare to put yourself first, dare to harness the power of no. How can we differentiate between what's important and what's not? Now that's $1 million question. In our everyday lives, we're bombarded with tasks, obligations, and opportunities. It's almost like trying to drink from a fire hose. But don't worry, there are ways to navigate through this overwhelming stream. The first thing to remember is that not all tasks are created equal. Some tasks are important, some are urgent, some are both, and some are neither. It's easy to confuse urgency with importance. Urgent tasks demand immediate attention, while important tasks contribute to our long-term mission, values, and goals. Sometimes we're so caught up in putting out fires that we neglect the important tasks that could prevent those fires in the first place. You may be wondering, how can I keep track of all this? And that's where a handy tool like the Eisenhower box comes in. Named after the 34th US President Dwight D. Eisenhower, this simple matrix can help you prioritize your tasks based on their urgency and importance. Imagine a box divided into 4 quadrants. The top left quadrant is for tasks that are important and urgent, like a deadline-driven project. The top right quadrant is for tasks that are important but not urgent, like planning for your future. The bottom left is for tasks that are not important but urgent, like some emails or phone calls. And finally, the bottom right is for tasks that are neither important nor urgent, like mindlessly scrolling through social media. By placing your tasks in these quadrants, you can easily see what needs your attention now, what needs to be scheduled for later, what can be delegated, and what can be eliminated altogether. It's a visual way to declutter your to-do list and focus on what truly matters. So remember, not everything that screams for your attention is deserving of it. The key is to identify what's truly important to you and let that guide your decisions. Because in the end, it's not about being busy, it's about being productive. Knowing what's important is the first step towards using your no effectively. So how do we say no without feeling guilty or coming off as rude? The answer lies in your approach. It's not about being dismissive or aggressive, but about being assertive and respectful. It's about setting boundaries and sticking to them. But how do you do that? Let's dive in. Firstly, be direct. You don't have to dance around the topic. Use simple, clear language. If someone asks you to do something that you don't have time for or simply don't want to do, you might say, "I appreciate your offer, but I must decline." It's straightforward, and it leaves no room for misinterpretation. Secondly, be honest, but tactful. It's not necessary to make up excuses or elaborate stories. You might say, "I'm currently focusing on other priorities," or "I'm not the best person to assist with this." Thirdly, keep it short and sweet. You don't owe anyone a lengthy explanation for your decisions. A simple, "I can't commit to this right now," is sufficient. Fourthly, practice makes perfect. The more you say no, the easier it becomes. Start with small, inconsequential situations and work your way up. It's like building a muscle. The more you exercise it, the stronger it becomes. Lastly, remember to be respectful. You can say no without being disrespectful. A simple, "Thank you for thinking of me, but I can't," is polite and effective. Remember, it's okay to put yourself first sometimes. Your time, energy, and resources are valuable, and it's up to you to protect them. Don't let anyone make you feel guilty for saying no. It's not selfish, it's self-care. And don't be discouraged if it's difficult at first. It will get easier with time and practice. You'll start to feel more confident and less stressed. You'll have more time for the things that truly matter to you. Remember, it's not what you say, but how you say it. Saying no can be a powerful tool in maintaining your focus and achieving your goals, so don't be afraid to use it. What happens when people don't take your no well? It's a question that looms large in the minds of many of us, but let's face it, backlash is a real possibility. Some people may not understand your priorities or respect your boundaries. They may feel slighted, upset, or even angry. So how do you handle such situations? The first step is to be prepared. Anticipate that not everyone will be thrilled when you start saying no. Remember, their reactions are more about them than about you. It's their disappointment, their unmet expectations. You are not responsible for how others choose to react. Secondly, communicate with clarity and kindness. Explain your reasons without being defensive or apologetic. You might say something like, "I understand how you feel, but at this time I need to focus on." This approach shows respect for the other person's feelings while still asserting your own needs. Thirdly, don't waver. If you've made your decision, stick to it. Backpedaling or giving in sends a message that your no can be easily overturned, and that's not the precedent you want to set. Now, it's important to note that standing your ground doesn't mean being rigid or unyielding. There's a delicate balance to strike. Be flexible where you can, but firm where you must. And remember, it's okay to revisit a decision if circumstances change. Your no today might be a yes tomorrow, but it should always be on your own terms. What if the backlash continues? It might be time to reassess your relationship with the person causing it. Toxic or manipulative individuals may try to guilt you into saying yes. Recognizing this behavior is crucial. You have the right to say no without feeling guilty or selfish. Ultimately, the goal is to value your time and priorities. There will always be demands on your time, but remember, you are in control. It's about creating a life that aligns with your values and goals. So when faced with backlash, take a deep breath, stand your ground, and remember, ultimately it's your time and it's your choice. So what happens when we start saying no more often? Well, let's dive into that. When we begin to say no, we start to see our life from a different perspective. We become more aware of our needs, our time, and our priorities. We start to understand that our time is valuable and that we should only spend it on things that truly matter to us. One of the most significant benefits of saying no is improved productivity. When we say no to unimportant tasks or distractions, we free up our time and energy to focus on tasks that are truly meaningful. This allows us to accomplish more in less time. We become more efficient, more effective, and ultimately, more productive. Saying no also has tremendous benefits for our mental health. When we constantly say yes, we spread ourselves thin, trying to meet everyone's expectations. This can lead to stress, burnout, and even mental health issues. By saying no, we create boundaries that protect our mental health. We reduce our stress levels and increase our sense of control over our lives. Lastly, saying no gives us more time for things that truly matter. Whether it's spending time with loved ones, pursuing a hobby, or simply relaxing, saying no allows us to make time for these important aspects of our lives. It's about prioritizing our happiness and well-being over everything else. It's important to remember that saying no is not about being selfish or rude. It's about recognizing and respecting our own needs and limits. It's about making conscious choices about how we spend our time and energy. So the next time you find yourself struggling to say no, remember these benefits. Remember that every no is a yes to something more important. It's a yes to your productivity, your mental health, and your happiness. Saying no might be difficult, but the benefits it brings are definitely worth the effort. Move forward confidently and practice using a no to set boundaries and fight for the life that you desire.